So with the amount of stuff that I purchase on Facebook Marketplace, it is inevitable that maybe I make a mistake and I purchase the wrong thing. And that's honestly kind of how I feel about this PC right here. Give me a second, I'm gonna get an energy drink. Let's go ahead and crack a cold one while I tell you about this thing. Monster doesn't sponsor us. So I found this PC for sale on Facebook Marketplace a couple weeks ago, and he had it listed for $400, which it's not worth $400, at least not in the state that it is currently in. Now, the photos that he had of the system, I could tell that it was a pre-built. I could tell that it was an Acer Predator PC, a pre-built system. But what I didn't know is what the hardware was inside of it. He didn't give me any pictures. None of the listings said that this was gonna be a good bet. The only thing that I could really tell from the listing was that it was very dirty and it definitely needed a good cleaning, which I'm generally A-okay with that. I like dirty computers. I just didn't know that, like, this thing has just been sitting outside. It has grass inside of this thing. I'm not kidding. Look at the side panel here. It's just gross. I don't even know what that is. It looks like a cockroach nest. It had to have been sitting out in front of someone's house, just waiting for the trash man to come and pick it up. And he found it and thought maybe he could get it to work, or he just thought that, you know, he could get somebody to buy it. You know, some sucker out there. And listen, while he may have been looking for a sucker, I don't think I'm it. So I haven't explored every part of this computer, but I did kind of take a look to see what we were getting with this system. And underneath the CPU cooler here, we have an i5 11400F. So we have an 11th gen CPU. Now, it does have some pretty ugly RAM in here, but each one of those RAM sticks is 16 gigs. So we have 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 megatransfers per second RAM. And we get a 512 gig NVMe. And how much did I pay for this system right here? Well, that was $100. I paid $100 for this system. The CPU by itself sells for $100. Now here's where the process of buying this system gets a little bit more fun. I don't know what graphics card that is. The person who sold it to me doesn't know what graphics card this is. And in the photos, he didn't have a picture of the model number of this computer, which is right here on the back. Now, when I look up this model number, it shows me this exact system, and that is a 1660 Super graphics card inside of here. So I can sell 1660 Supers for 80 bucks. I've done it plenty of times in the past. So essentially, I just got this whole thing for $20, assuming that this graphics card works, which we'll test a little later. Now, some of you guys are probably like, well, Ryan, you forgot the power supply. There is a power supply inside of here. Well, the problem with the power supply is that the guy that I bought the system from said that the power supply was broken. That was why he was selling the system. He's selling the system because the power supply needed to be replaced, is what he told me. And I'm gonna take his word for that, and I'm not really gonna chance putting electricity to this thing. I feel like this thing has been sitting out. It's dirty, like it's been sitting outside on the front yard. So I'm not going to put any electricity into this system, and you know, for fear that it just like fries everything inside of here and then all of it's just garbage. Now, what I would have really loved to do was kind of save everything, but he told me that he doesn't have a front panel, and you know, honestly, because it's in such good quality, check us out, we still get the peel. It's perfect now. Look at how shiny it used to be. That is actually a satisfying power button. Does anybody else find like enjoyment in their power button being like a satisfying push? Now, obviously I'm gonna be shucking the hardware out of this system to put into you know, a brand new build. You know, we're gonna build something that's way better looking than this. And I think what we're gonna be doing is building something that's pretty much as compact as this system, but it's gonna look and perform just like a million times better, maybe a billion times better, because this one doesn't even turn on. So obviously this system can't stay looking like this. So let me go ahead and grab all of the things that we're gonna be using to transform this thing into a computer that somebody will purchase from us for hopefully a decent amount of money. That's a lot of stuff. That was a fun transition. You should subscribe so you can see more of those fun transitions. So obviously we're gonna stick with a smaller form factor build here. We're gonna go MATX. This is a Cypress 3 case. I've built it before. It's very inexpensive. It does a great job of cooling all the hardware inside of it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, with the amount of stuff that we've got going into this case, this is gonna be one action-packed case here. There's gonna be like no room for anything else. And that's honestly what I'm going for. I'm going for something that's just real full. It's gonna look like it's bursting at the seams. And for the cost of what it takes to put this computer together, we're gonna be able to sell this system for a pretty decent amount of money so that we can put it towards all of the money that we have earned for the Build Up Challenge so far. The total amount of money that was $1,832, but we were able to sell the last PC that we put together for $740, putting our brand new grand total to $2,572 earned to build the system that I'm gonna give away to one of you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start putting this thing together, and once we finish putting the system together, I'm gonna need your help coming up with a list price on how much we should try and sell this system for so that we can keep earning as much money as possible so that we can get to building your computer just a little bit faster. So let's go ahead and just get this started now. Is not doing it for me in this build. It's the amount of dead space. You know, they could have made it so that we could utilize the entire case. Obviously kidding, this is the fullest PC that I have ever put together. I mean, honestly, the gap between this top fan and the CPU cooler is just so incredibly minimal. Well, what do you guys think? You think this thing came together well? I think that it looks pretty good. So now what I gotta do is I gotta show you the performance of the system so that you guys have an idea of how well this system performs so that you guys can help me come up with a price on what we're going to be selling this computer for. So I tested out 3 games on this system, starting out with the game called High on Life, and we were getting an average of 143 FPS at the game's Ultra preset. Moving on over to Forza 5 with its max preset, we were getting an amazing average of 114 FPS. And lastly, I wanted to check in on Kratos, so we jumped into God of War Ragnarok, also at a max preset, and we were getting an average of 98 FPS. Now you will notice in the gameplay section there is a small bottleneck from the CPU in here, and that is to be expected. I really didn't want to put a 3070 Ti in this system, but I couldn't find like a 2070 Super or 2080 Super to put in here. That's what I was really looking for, and there weren't any like real good deals. Graphics cards are hard to come by these days, especially if you're looking for a good deal on a graphics card. So I wasn't able to find what I really wanted for this build, so I opted to use one of the 3070 Ti's that I purchased not too long ago for an amazing price. I did pay $280 for this 3070 Ti, which is a fantastic deal, and it is definitely going to help this system catch a few more eyes because the 3070 3070 Ti is still a pretty darn good card. And regardless of that bottleneck, the performance from this system was absolutely fantastic. And someone's going to find a ton of enjoyment out of this system, especially with this CPU cooler. I think that thing is super cool. It's huge. Definitely overkill for the i5 in here, but I think it looks really cool. Now, if you are curious about how much money it took us to build this system, let's go over that right now. So the original system, I bought that for $100, but there was a 1660 Super inside of this PC, which I will clean up and I'll go ahead and list it. Now, in this area, they sell for around $80. So I'm gonna assume right now that it's gonna sell for about 80 bucks. I'm in no hurry to sell it, so we are gonna, decrease $80 from the $100 we spent on that original nasty PC. So $20 for the CPU, the RAM, and the SSD inside of this system. Now, the graphics card, I did say that I picked it up for $280, so that's a $280 graphics card on top of the $20 for the other components. And for everything else to make this build happen, the CPU cooler, the fans, the case, all that good stuff, it did cost me $252. So that's gonna bring the total cost to put this system right here together to only $552. Now, we had $2,582 in our bank before we started this episode, so we have $2,030 in our bankroll to build your gaming PC, which is a pretty decent amount of money, but we still need to figure out how much we're gonna sell this system for, and this is where I need your help. I need you to run down to the comments section and let me know what you think this system should sell for. Me personally, I'm thinking around $900, but that's just me, that could be crazy. I'm gonna need your help to, figure out the actual price that we are going to list this PC for. And also, while you're down there, if you did have fun watching this video, make sure you've hit the subscribe button and smash that like button as well. It helps this channel out tremendously. Also, make sure you follow the link in the description to join the Discord server, because that is where you are going to have to be in order to win the computer that we're going to be building for our grand finale of this season. And as always, just remember that no matter where you are in the world, I hope that you are having a fantastic day. And I'm going to see you right here for the next video. What a do, ba do, ba do.